Alright, I'm going to give everyone like 2 more minutes to just go home and take a seat. Sorry, Baiji. I am a freshman in college as of, I guess, this year. I'm heading to Lake Forest College. I do a lot of stuff. Interfaith is one of my favorite things to do. I run the youth group at our local mosque up in Morton Grove. I'm on the American Muslim Youth Council. I attended Lumberg South High School up in Glenview. And, I'm just really, really happy to be here. So I'm going to be your MC for today. And if you guys have any questions, I am very open. I'm an open book. I speak at a lot of schools on Islamophobia. So basically ask me anything and I won't be offended. So to start off with today, our theme is compassion through interaction. And a lot of people took this theme in very many different ways. I personally took it as the more people you know, the more tolerant the world becomes. And the more you meet new people, the more ideas you get, and the more you can stick up for these people when you're in social situations in which people are, I hate saying this word, but talking smack about the other, So that's kind of what I got, but also compassion through interaction. The more people you know, the bigger of a community you build. And the bigger your community you build, the more people you can serve, and the better I think our world becomes. So you can take that in 2 ways, and I'm sure you guys have got many other ways, and I'm sure that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about compassion through interaction, because that's what Interfaith is, and I'm so glad to be talking about this topic today. So to start off with, we're going to have the Imam from MCC Masjid come up. It is Imam Nazim Manguera. He grew up in Toronto, Canada, and at the age of 13, he went to England to complete the traditional memorization of the Quran and the Islamic scholar course. Imam Nazim is a well-known speaker in the community gatherings, universities, colleges, and mosques, where he has spoken on a wide range of topics. Currently, Imam Nazim is pursuing his doctorate in Islamic studies. The Imam can converse fluently in 4 languages, and he has been the MCC Imam for the last 18 months. So please give a warm welcome to Imam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon all of you, and may God's mercy and may God's blessings be spread upon all of us. So I want to start off this evening with thanking all of you for being present here. Your presence here means a lot to us, and we appreciate you coming here, taking out your time on this beautiful day, and coming and sharing your evening with us. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about just the month of Ramadan, but prior to that, I'm going to start reciting the Quran, one verse which is related to the month of Ramadan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون صدق الله العظيم. So in the Quranic verse, God is saying that in this month of Ramadan, the Quran was revealed. And in the verse prior to this, God says that fasting is prescribed upon you as it was prescribed to those before you. So as Muslims, we believe that the religion of Islam, this is a continuation of previous religions prior to the religion of Islam. So God says that yes, you have to fast right now, but this fast is similar, or communities and religions prior to you, they had fasting as well. So we see that we find fasting in Christianity during Lent and on Good Fridays and other times throughout the year. We find similar teachings of fasting in Judaism and Yom Kippur. And then we find amongst the Hindu people, amongst the Buddhist people, people of various religions, various beliefs, they all fast and they have one way, they fast one way or another. The Islamic fast, it differs in two ways. One is that when we fast, we abstain from everything, from dawn, which is about 2 hours before sunrise. So nowadays it's about at 3:30. So from 3:30 in the morning till sunset, about 8:30. So this whole period of time, 17 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours, based on the season, we abstain from water, from drinks, from food, and everything else like that. So we don't consume anything, nothing down our throat, but we are allowed to breathe though. So you might think that, wow, how do you do it? So that's one way, because in other religions, they might abstain from certain things and not other things, so that's one thing. Second thing is that our fast, it's not for 1 or 2 days, but it's for a whole month. So it's our fast, we abstain from everything, and also it's for 29 or 30 days. So you might think that how is it possible that for a full 29 or 30 days, throughout the whole day, a person can stay away from food and drinks and things like that. But the thing is that the month of Ramadan, this is blessed to more than 1.5 billion people across the world. And millions of people are fasting throughout the whole world. And it's easy for them. We have children as young as 7, 8, 9. They might fast like once in a Ramadan, then next year they'll add a few to that. But the point I'm trying to make is that it is possible. And interestingly enough, there are a lot of people, when the month of Ramadan finishes and they step on the weighing scale, they realize that, holy macaroni, I just gained 10 pounds in Ramadan. How did that happen? So you would think that people would lose weight, but many don't. But I don't mean to beat my own tune or praise my own self. But in this half month of Ramadan, I've lost about 10 pounds. So guys, give me a clap. Now, I'm going to have to make a lot of effort to put those pounds back on again, because if an imam and a priest, he's skinny and stuff like that, they don't take him seriously, so I got to put those pounds back on. So in this month of fasting, Muslims, we not only do we abstain from food and we fast, but in this month of Ramadan, we are also encouraged to be charitable, to be generous. And one way that we are generous is that many people, we take out our yearly zakat in this month of Ramadan, which is 2.5% of everything which we have saved. So 2.5% of that. So being charitable and taking care of the homeless. Today, I myself with the MCC president, we were at down south in the western suburbs there. So a Muslim organization, Ikna Relief, they inaugurated their homeless shelter for women today. So that's in this month of Ramadan of being charitable. Along with that, we try to volunteer as much as possible in this blessed month of Ramadan. In this month of Ramadan, we also try to give as much as possible. So this aspect of charity is even practiced on the last day of Ramadan, where every single person, family member, at a minimum, we are required to take out $7 for each person, so that if somebody is poor, needy, at least they can have a good day of celebration on the last day of Ramadan. And one way that if you see a Muslim, you can greet the Muslim by saying there's different words. So one is the month of Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar. Our fast, it's a lunar-based calendar. So every year it's 10 days earlier, our month of fasting. So nowadays it's in the hot days, but after a few years it'll be in winter. So the way you greet a Muslim is you can say the month, Ramadan, and then you can say Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak. So I want you to repeat after me, Ramadan Kareem. Wow, you guys all sounded like Arabic, wonderful. Okay, so, and other than that, every month, every Ramadan, we try to have this type of occasion, this type of event, so that we bring people of different religions, different beliefs, different backgrounds together here, and we see each other, we talk to each other, we get to know each other, and sometimes we feel that, we can't change the whole world, we can't impact the whole world, but at least we can impact individual people, and slowly we can get to know each other better. So I end with this, that once again, thank you so much for being present here, because your presence here means a lot to us, and I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
I'm trying to figure out where that beating anything is coming. Can you hear that? Sorry. Okay. Oh. And now I introduce President Dr. Sawar Nasser, who is the president of MCC. Brother Muhammad Sawar Nasser was elected the president of the Muslim Community Center in December 2013 and was re-elected in 2015. He's a scientist by training, having 10 international patents and more than 30 papers and book chapters in international journals. Since 1992, Dr. Nasser has been an active volunteer member of MCC as a theology teacher, a principal of MCC Sunday School, finance secretary, and chairman of the MCC Full-Time School Council. Dr. Nasser has also authored a book titled Worship and Conduct, a theology guidebook for Islamic education. The book is available at the MCC bookstore, so if any of you guys are interested. Dr. Nasser is blessed with a wonderful wife and 3 beautiful children. Welcome, Dr. Nasser.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be on everyone. This today's topic, compassion through interaction, and I was thinking, how should I go with it? How should I start with it? But before me was our Imam, so he has made my life a little bit easier. But he stole some of my ideas also, so it's difficult also. But I think compassion through interaction, when we talk about empathy also. If there is no empathy, there is no compassion. So I just remember that in this center we feed around 500 people every night in this month. In our other center, we arrange around 200-250 people every night they come and eat. And last year, I came here and I ate with all the 500 people. I was sitting there on the ground. And it happened that day that the food was catered by Afghan restaurant, which many people love their food. So one person came to me, an old person, and came to me and he said, "You should come very often because today you are here, that's why we got such a good food." And I felt like that is empathy. Unless we go into that kind of situation, perhaps we can never have the compassion. And then just today somebody sent a small video, and I was reading that video. I was watching on my cell phone also with my wife, and that was about a homeless person. That some 2 women, they were putting dog food in the container for their dog, and surprisingly, somebody was eating that food. They did not know what's happening. So they thought, okay, let's find out what is happening. So they were videotaping it, and they saw as soon as they put the food in that container, dog food, one homeless guy who was hiding somewhere, he was looking at that, and he came, sneaked in, and he started eating from there. Then those 2 women, they go there, and they say, "Hi, hello, how are you?" And he got scared, and he tried to run away, and he said, "Please don't call the police. I will not come here again." Those women were nice. They took him, they said, they gave him more food, and they said, "Whenever you are hungry, come to us, we will feed you." That is compassion with interaction. Compassion through interaction, that's what I call it. So going next to how we are doing that compassion through empathy, compassion through interaction, as our Imam Sahib said, that every year, every person has to give 2.5% of his or her wealth, his or her property, his or her wealth, his or her money which is in the bank. So that 2.5% is gotten by our center also, and every year our center ends up spending $250,000 to help the needy people. Every first Saturday of the month, there are 100 to 200 people who come here, and we help them financially. not only we help them financially, we try to put them on their feet also. So there are certain examples that we personally, in fact, really, we took some homeless people, we put them in the motel, and then we put them in somebody's house, and slowly they got the job and they came on their feet. Not only that, whoever comes for financial help, we give them like a food pantry, we give them food boxes. Everyone who comes on that Saturday, he gets the food box also. In addition to that, our team has many times the soup kitchen also, and we heavily interact with different churches, and we go there and we help in soup kitchen also. Then we interact and socialize, and that is in our prayers. You might have heard, whenever our Imam Sahib is leading the prayer, first thing he says, come close to each other, do not leave a gap in between. And that is as close as we can, as close as our hearts can be. So that's we start with the prayer. And then we interact and socialize, and we have town hall meetings, and we have meet and greet sessions, and then we have open mosque days. Many of you might have come to those open mosque days also. We have open house where we get so much crowd from the Chicago land. We are blessed with that. Our Interfaith and outreach program is wonderful. It's getting so overcrowded now that we are letting people know we cannot accommodate you anymore. It's unfortunate, but we have to live with the space also. So it is very popular, many people are coming up, and they are interacting with us, and we also go to others' houses and we interact with them. We have strong association with political and non-political organizations also. Just first time this year, it was very unique. We arranged a candidate forum in our Martin Grove campus, where we invited all the Martin Grove trustees and mayor candidates, and there was a nice candidate forum and people asked the questions. So that was one of a kind, and we are going to keep that every year. We have very nice interactions with the city mayor of City of Chicago. We, myself, Imam Sahib, and 4 or 5 of us, we went to have Iftar with the mayor. There were 200 plus people he had invited, so we went there. Alderman Lorino in this area is a very close friend of ours. Our police commander is a very good friend of ours, and our own Communities United. They are always with us, we are always with them. So we are happily socializing, we are happily interacting with different organizations, and that's we call it compassion through interaction. As our Imam Sahib said, we just came out of a house is bought for the battered woman, for the it's a shelter home you can call it. So there we will be helping our sisters if they have any issues. If they don't have any place to stay, there they can be helped also. So in that way we have multiple programs. We have computer classes free of charge for our people, whoever wants to come and join. And occasionally we have ESL classes and GED classes also. With that I would stop. As Imam Sahib said, we are blessed that you are here. Thank you very much, and hope you will enjoy the evening today. Assalamu alaikum.
Alright, so here is the portion of our evening where we will be talking on this topic from each faith group. So here's kind of our list in order. We're going to start with St. John's Episcopal Church, Diane Lemus from Communities United, Rajinder Singh Mago from the Palatine Gurdwara, Pastor Aaron Bowman from Irving Park Lutheran Church, Attorney Amina Khan from the Indo-American Center, Commander Elias Bulgaris from the 17th District Police Department, and then Amil Pillai from the Gita Society. So I'd like to please give a warm welcome to Rector Cara Wagner-Scherer. I'm going to do a little bio on her. Cara Wagner-Scherer was raised in the small Christian congregation of St. James in Marshall, Minnesota. She has a BA in English Literature from St. Olaf College in Minnesota and earned her MDiv from Seabury Western Theological Seminary in 2003. During the years between St. Olaf and Seabury, she taught elementary school in England, New York, and Chicago, and also served as a campus minister at Sacred Heart School in Chicago. She has served as the rector, head pastor of St. John's since September 2005. Her spouse, John Scherer, is the director of music at Fourth Presbyterian Church in Chicago, and they have 2 lovely daughters. Okay, so
Good evening. I'm so honored to be here. Just about a month ago, we had a speaker come to St. John's to talk to us about Islam, and he quoted this verse from the Quran, the 48th verse of chapter 5. And I will say it in English. Had Allah willed, he would have made you one nation, united in religion, but he intended to test you in what he has given you, so race to all that is good. This was a wonderful reminder to me. Our own Christian denomination recently had, as our national leader, someone who was a biologist. And she reminded us that God, in creating the world, must love diversity. Because look at the oceans, look at the forests, look at the plains, look at how many animals and insects, and look at humans. And when we are afraid of each other, we may tend to want to look for what is the same in each other, and that's a good thing. And when I have worshiped here, I have found many connections to my own faith, including listening to the lovely, the wonderful chanting of the Quran, and in my own tradition we chant, and those sounds are so ancient and tie us together. But also, I've learned more recently that maybe what is most important in making connections with each other is to look for the differences and not to be afraid of them, but to rejoice in them as a gift from God. And so I'm just honored to be here with other members from St. John's, and we wish to be with you and to learn more about God by knowing more about you. Thank you.
I would like to now introduce Diane Limas from Communities United. You have the floor.
Let's see. We're up here. Good. What I'm going to do is talk them down here. How's that? Good. No, I think we're good. Okay, right. Yes. Thank you. I'm going to stand right here. Thank you. I want to thank Dr. Carter and Dr. Nasser for the invitation to be here today. I look forward to this event every single year. It's an honor for me to be here. My name is Diane Limas. I'm a volunteer for an organization called Communities United. We have been in the neighborhood for almost 18 years. We work on a lot of social justice issues, one of them being the preservation of affordable housing in areas that are gentrifying. We strongly believe that people that have lived in the neighborhood, that have worked hard to keep the neighborhood safe and make it better, have every right to stay in that neighborhood. We work on education. We work on immigration. We work on healthcare. Recently, Abrar Carter, Dr. Carter's son, was part of a coalition, a countywide coalition that we were able to pass a health access bill for all the remaining uninsured in Cook County. So that was a huge event, and that was something we were very proud of. We're working on a lot of criminal justice issues. We're working on immigration. We do a lot of know your rights trainings for our undocumented. And quite recently, we started, in fact, Maria Elena here is very involved in a Survivor Alliance. We work on prison pipeline, school to prison pipeline, where we make sure that our young people that are going to school are in discipline for no reason, and suspended for 3-4 weeks where they never come back to school. So we work on a lot of issues, but one that I'm very, very proud of is our involvement in our preservation of affordable housing. Because what we have put together as leaders of Communities United is something called Roots, Renters Organizing Ourselves to Stay, and through that initiative, we were able to, with partners, a developer and a person that supplied money to that gave money to our developer, we were able to preserve 44 units of affordable housing in areas that are changing. And we are recently in the process of working with a brand new developer because we're expanding our Roots initiative, and we have in the pipeline the ability to preserve 415 more units. So we're very excited about that. And again, we're always looking for volunteers, right? We're always looking for, so if anybody feels that they'd like to work on some of these social justice issues, please give Communities United a call. Thank you very much, everybody.
I would like to now call on Rajinder Singh Magao. Please correct me. My name is it's Sarah. My name is Sarah, but people call me Sarah, Sahara, Sarara. I've gotten everything, okay? So here's a little bit of a bio. Rajinder Singh Magao. Mago. Is the Community Outreach and Media Coordinator of the Sikh Religious Society, Palatine Gurdwara. He is a Trustee Emeritus Council for Parliament of World Religions. He is the Executive Secretary of Asian American Coalition of Chicago, co-founder of the Punjabi Cultural Society of Chicago, and he is professionally retired as last year the Senior Engineering Manager after 42 years with Navistar Incorporated. Let's give a warm welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. As you said, Rajinder Singh Mago is my name, and I am associated with the Sikh Religious Society in Palatine, Illinois. And I'm involved in a lot of other cultural and social activities. And I thank MCC, President Nasser, Iftar, and others for giving me this opportunity to be here this evening on sharing some of the views on compassion, the topic of this evening. From our perspective, the Sikh perspective, what is compassion? There's a verse in Sikh scripture. I don't know how many of you know about the Sikh religious faith community. We don't have time to go over explaining all that, but they're Sikh gurus. It's about 500 years old religion, and the current and eternal guru for the Sikhs is the scripture, Granth. Granth is holy book, so Guru Granth we call it. Guru Granth Sahib, that's the holy scripture. And that is, there's no human guru for the Sikhs since 1708. So there were 10 gurus, total of 10, starting from Guru Nanak, the founder, and Guru Gobind Singh was the last one. Guru number 5, Guru Arjan, he compiled the scripture Granth, holy book. And the 10th Guru, when he was at his end of his life, 1708, he said that from now on, this scripture would be your guru, your spiritual guide, your leader for now on. So one of the verses I'm going to quote from that Guru Granth Sahib is at the very beginning. It says that Taul Dharam Daya Ka Ud. Dharam means like a religion, a duty, or a path of righteousness. And Daya translates into compassion or mercy. And those who are from Indian region or Pakistan region, or maybe some Arabic also, they might recognize some of these words, Dharam and Daya. So it says that Dharam is Daya Ka Ud, meaning that the path of righteousness is a product of compassion. So unless you have, how can anyone know the pain of another if there's no compassion or sympathy with them? So the compassion has to be there for a path of righteousness, of a duty, of a discipline, a religious way of life. There are 3 C's in Sikhism also, I'm pretty sure is similar in others also, like compassion, contentment, and contemplation. Of course, in addition to truth, humility, and love for all those things. So in addition to all those, compassion is very central to the Sikh way of life. So explaining this compassion from the Sikh perspective, I'm reminded of a story of a person named Bhai Kanhaiya. Kanhaiya was his name. Bhai is the word as a brother, like you call brother. Bhai Kanhaiya lived around 1648 to 1718, and he was a devoted Sikh. Like he met the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, and he kind of initiated him to be a Sikh, but he lived till the 10th Guru also, Guru Gobind Singh. So in about 1708, Guru Gobind Singh was living in Anandpur. That is a place in Punjab area near the foothills of Himalayas, near Chandigarh, and that is one of the 5 takhats of Sikhdom, like the high seats of Sikhism. So that's one of them. And Guru Gobind Singh was stationed there all the time. So this Bhai Kanhaiya visited Anandpur around 1708 and 1705 time frame. And just around that time, Anandpur Sahib was attacked and invaded by the joint army of the hill chiefs, hill kings, who were Hindu Rajas of Himachal Pradesh area, along with the Mughal army. They were all together jointly. They had attacked the Sikh Guru Gobind Singh and the Anandpur Sahib, the whole city. So they had surrounded the city, and they had stopped any food going in and out, any water. So at that time, this Bhai Kanhaiya, who was a selfless serviceman to humanity without any religious discrimination or any person, so he was serving the Guru, taking care of the livestock in stables, working in the langar kitchen, helping out, So he took upon additional duties of carrying water and giving water, quenching thirst of the needy and the thirsty people during that battle. So he used to carry water on a, what we call a mushk. I don't know if it's a Urdu word or an Arabic word, but it's used in Punjabi, Indian also. It's a leather kind of a bag, and it's a strap, and then they carry water in there because they didn't have water tanks at that time. So he carried water, and then he would give water to whosoever is thirsty, and there were no cups or glasses. They would just, drink like that, they pour water to that. So that's what he used to do. So he was giving water to the wounded, the soldier who were being wounded in that battle and the fight. So what happened was that during those clashes and skirmishes between the Sikh soldiers and the joint Mughal forces also, he would feed and give water to all those people who were wounded. And while he was giving water, he was giving water to not only the Sikh soldiers, but also the wounded Mughal soldiers also who were there. This act stirred some kind of a contention amongst the other fellow Sikhs. Says that, hey, you're giving water to those other enemies also, and what's going to happen is they're going to get well, and then they're going to fight back again. And in a situation where they have surrounded our city, they've stopped our food, and we are ready. What's left? Very little water is left for us. So why don't you stop it? But he didn't stop. So the Sikhs went to the Guru Gobind Singh to complain about him, that this is what this person is doing, that he's giving water to enemy soldiers. The Guru Gobind Singh heard their complaints and he said, okay, I will call him. So he called Bhai Kanhaiya in his place where they were inside and asked him, Bhai Kanhaiya, I hear that you are doing this, giving water not only to our people, but also the enemy soldiers. Why are you doing that? What do you have to say in your response? He said, Guruji, when I go out there giving water to people, I don't see who I'm giving water to. You are the one who taught us that Aval Allah Noor ko paya, Kudrat ke sab bande. Meaning that there's same light in all of them. They're same people, they're same one human beings. So when I see in their eyes, I see a need. If they're needy or they're thirsty, I don't see who they are, if they're Sikh or they're Muslim or they're Mughal or they're Hindus. I see somebody wounded there and thirsty, I just give water to them. Guru was very much pleased to hear that. And he said, I'm so proud of you that you really understood the Gurbani, the central core message of Gurbani, and I'm very proud of you. And he said, come here. He embraced him, he blessed him, and he said, here, take some of those medical supplies, some bandage, some medicinal balm, and take care of the wounded also. And no matter who they are, you are doing great thing, don't worry about it. And that was the compassion that the Sikh Gurus taught their Sikhs, and that compassion is continuing on till today. There are descendants of that Bhai Kanhaiya, they are called Sevabantis, and they are into this type of work, the service. Of course, all Sikhs are supposed to do that. And this compassion that the Sikhs started in 1700, that was much earlier than the Red Cross of today. Thank you very much.
Pastor Aaron Bauman from Irving Park Lutheran Church. Aaron Bauman is the Reverend Dr. Aaron Bauman has been the pastor at Irving Park Lutheran Church for 3.5 years. Before that, she served in a congregation in Homewood, Illinois. Prior to becoming a pastor, Aaron worked as a teacher in Tanzania, as a soup kitchen administrator in New York City, and in the communication department for Lutheran World Relief. She is married and has 2 children and lives next door to the church.
So I'm your neighbor. I'm a little disoriented. Where is, what's north? Where's south? Where's Irving Park Road from here? That way? Okay. And Pulaski? All right. So we are, the Irving Park Lutheran Church is just a block in from Irving Park Road and Pulaski. We're the big brick church that you might sometimes hear ringing bells. It rings on the hour and plays tunes. We're your neighbors. We're just a couple blocks away. We're your neighbors. We also have some sound system issues from time to time. So I'm feeling a connection there. Feeling very much like your neighbors, feeling so much gratitude for your neighborliness, inviting us, feeding us. Thank you. It's really quite wonderful. Compassion through interaction. I think about a story from our Christian scriptures, a story that Jesus told. It was a response to the question, who is my neighbor? The person who asked the question was kind of it's kind of a trick question, trying to get at Jesus. And really, it's, who is my neighbor? It shouldn't be a trick question. It should be pretty obvious. A neighbor is somebody who lives near you. But Jesus takes it a step farther. Jesus answers the question by telling a story. And it is a story that sounds an awful lot like the story that you told. He talks about a man who is hurt and beaten and left for dead on the side of the road. And a person walks by, and this person happens to be a religious leader. Just keeps walking by. And another person walks by, and this person is an important person, elected official of a congregation, and this person walks by. And then another person walks by, and this person is of a religious and racial group that is not highly regarded by the people to whom Jesus is telling the story. And that person stops and helps the person. And Jesus says, so who was the neighbor in this story? It was the one who showed mercy. It was the one who showed compassion. That's who a neighbor is. And I'm moved by the great work that you do, serving so many neighbors in so many ways. At our church, in some different ways, we try to be neighbors. We work with Kara's church. St. John's Episcopal Church has an organization that works to support people who are at risk of becoming homeless. Hands to Help is an area group that we help support. We help support the Irving Park Food Pantry at the Methodist Church. They have a lot of food outreach that we also volunteer and contribute food to. At our own church, we have a gymnasium that has an after school, 5 days a week. Probably some of your children go to that after school. They're the children of Belden and Murphy Public School. They're in there, very low cost, especially reaching out to people who have trouble finding a good, safe place for their children after school. Lots of people who are first-generation immigrants. So we try to be a neighbor in that way. We try to open up our building as much as we can. We've also got different exercise groups that use our gymnasium. So if you're looking for a way to drop those Ramadan pounds, come by. But seriously, we have a building. We're your neighbors. We have a gymnasium. We are touched that you are reaching out to us. And if we can be of service to you in any way, please do let us know. Thank you.
Our next speaker is attorney Amina Khan from the Indo-American Center. Amina Khan is from the Indo-American Center Immigration Attorney and Program Coordinator. Amina earned her bachelor and Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Florida. She has worked for Florida and Illinois with various agencies, including the Public Defender's Office, Criminal Conflicts Office, State Attorney's Office, and Office of Executive Inspector General. Amina volunteers her time with several local legal aid organizations, including Cabrini Green, Domestic Violence Legal Clinic, and Chicago Volunteer Legal Services. Let's give a warm welcome to Amina Khan.
so I'm going to go from that. So I think Ramadan is the perfect time for this topic, compassion through interaction. As a child, when you think about Ramadan, it's all about waking up in the middle of the night and eating something and then going back to sleep and then being hungry all day. But I think it's actually fun as a kid. But I think as you get older, you start really trying to understand, like, what is it really about? And it's really, at least right now in my mind, it's like, I think Ramadan is a time to detox yourself of any negativity. It's also a time to really, I think, the feeling of hunger is supposed to make you feel like, what is it like when your neighbor is hungry? To feel that compassion. So yes, I am the immigration attorney at Indo-American. If anyone here doesn't know what Indo-American is a not-for-profit community center. It is on California and Devon, so in the north side. We offer a lot of programs for families. They have a seniors lunch program every day where seniors get free food. They have an after-school program for children. They have workforce development. They have free English classes, free ESL classes. We also have an immigration department which offers legal services, and I'm the immigration attorney. And I interact with people on a daily basis. And I have to be compassionate. I mean, a lot of the people I interact with, English is their second or third language. And you know, yes, I speak Urdu and Hindi, so a lot of the times I'm bilingual, a lot of our staff is bilingual, and we can switch and really speak with this person. Sometimes people speak other languages. We've got people who speak Bangla, or they speak Telugu, or they speak Malayalam, or they speak Farsi. Gujarati, exactly. And I don't speak those languages, but there's also like a language of the heart, right? You have to be able to read someone's eyes, read someone's lips, read someone's emotions. And so, I mean, I think, you know, if you just slow down and take a breath and you really think about, I mean, you're not going to understand everything which someone else is saying, but if you just if you're a little bit more patient, you can understand more than you're giving yourself credit for. The other thing I would say would be, in terms of, I was thinking about some of the very compassionate things I've seen since I've been at Indo-American, since I've been there since June. I think seeing a family get reunited is very rewarding, especially like we've had mothers who are here for various reasons who now want to sponsor their minor children and they've been separated from them. When you see them get reunited and you help them with the legal process, that's huge. Like seeing a mother get reunited with their child. And I'm a mother too, so I understand how that feels. And then sometimes, you know, like there are also very painful issues. Like we have clients come in, certain, I guess, immigration procedures take a long time, like sponsoring siblings or sponsoring adult married children. So, I mean, I'm thinking about one client in particular, but she came in because her husband had sponsored her adult married son a few years back, and it's still pending, and she was afraid that her husband's gonna die. He is very ill, and what would happen to the case? And then you have to have that compassionate conversation with them. Most of the time, when the petitioner dies, the case dies. Like there are exceptions to every rule, but that's the general rule. Also, you know, like we have cases where, like we recently had a client, we help people become citizens. That's one of the biggest things we do. We really want people who are legal permanent residents to get their U.S. citizenship. So we have citizenship workshops, we do N400, we do N600. We recently had a client who, I don't know what happened, but she came back to see me and she was like, well, I failed the English portion of the test. I was like, how? You speak English, you know? But like, she was just so nervous. And she was like, can you please go with me? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make an exception, I'm gonna go with you. She passed, but just the look on her eyes when she passed was just amazing because she was like, you're gonna be all my prayers, and I'm like, it's okay, you know? Like, this is part of my job. But seeing someone, like, I guess, get that ultimate dream of becoming an American citizen where you can now vote, you can now serve on a jury, like, you know, like you can't be deported, you are an American citizen, that's huge. And it's really an honor and a privilege to be part of that. So I'm not going to go to my past life because, or actually I still do that. I still do criminal defense and I do trials, but it's all about compassion also, being able to understand your client, being able to understand the various players, like the witnesses, being able to have a jury relate to you and to your client and win that case. I practice a lot of yoga very early in the morning before I go to work. And, you know, I remind myself every day to be patient, to be compassionate, and to be grateful for what I have and that ability to give back. Because I think without that, life would be very boring. Okay, that's all I have.
I would now like to introduce. He's here! Yay! Wow, that was like perfect timing. Wow. Ramadan blessings. Alright, so I don't have much of a bio, sadly, but I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Hello again, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, I am with the Muslim community and all the communities represented here. It's indeed an honor and a privilege every time I meet with the Muslim community or any community. It's very, very important to me to get community-police relations back on track, especially in the field of trust. Very, very important to me. Excuse me, I ran up here, so. You know, what amazes me is it's just the community and involvement of not only religious entities, but community groups and individuals. And since being installed as the commander of the district, I've had nothing but support, and I appreciate that. The Muslim community has opened your arms to me, to our officers, and that is much appreciated. This holy place of worship means a lot to me, and I thank you for welcoming me to your place of worship. And I will always be here for you and your community, as well as the entire community. One thing that I want to do in the future is work on establishing a trust with the youth of the district. We're doing that slowly, but we need more work. It's the youth of today that are going to be our leaders. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's the truth. The youth that are here today are going to be leaders of not only the city of Chicago, but of our country. And day by day, we need help. I mean, let's face it, the city needs help, the country needs help. So we want to be able to mentor the youth of the community to help them become individuals on their own and also as part of a group. So we've been planning a few things for the youth of the community, and a mentoring program as well. So you'll be hearing about that in the future. The only thing I can ask in return is your feedback. Your feedback is very, very important to me. I can tell you all day long what crimes are occurring, how well we're doing or how bad we're doing, but your feedback, whether it's positive, negative, or even criticism, is very, very important to me. So please continue your feedback. There's nothing that we can't work on. There's nothing that we can't handle or solve together. Really, I mean, you know, that's the way to build the trust in the communities, is to work together towards achieving a solution or a goal or an outcome. That's very, very important. So I want to again thank you for having me. Thank you for having me amongst all the faiths that are represented here. I represent the Greek Orthodox faith, as many of you know. My Muslim friends know that I'm big on leaders, and one leader that I follow all the time is the great, and sorry if I don't pronounce it right, Sayyadin. So, I want you to know that. With that said, thank you again. Thank you for allowing me in your most holy place of worship. And again, let's continue our support, not just one day. Let's continue this for the rest of the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, and our final speaker is Anil Pillai from the Gita Society. Anil Pillai is a special, so here's some of his activities. He's the current president of the Coalition of the Asian American Communities in Skokie, Commissioner Consumer Affairs Commission in the village of Skokie. He's the president of Gita Mandalam Dharma Society in Chicago. He's the president of the talent show Miss America Malayali pageant. That was my favorite. The trustee federation of the Indian Association, election committee chair federation of Indian Association, and the president Illinois of the Malayali Association. When do you sleep?
Thank you for that fine introduction. Above all, I'm a nice person.
I can certify that.
Thank you. Okay. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. When Iftar called me and said, you have to come, I said, I have been there before. So he said, no, come, you can speak a few words. I said, fine, I will. See, we were hearing about compassion through interaction. I have gone through those subjects and I realized it is on individuals. It is on realization of your life. But before I go further, let me say what Mahatma Gandhi said: when doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not a ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and find the words to comfort me. And I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow. See, that's what, when we are in difficulty, we need some support. And the person with the compassion is near us, like one of the speakers said about the neighbors, one person about our religions. These are necessary for us. Then only we can live in this society. Like the Hindu community, Muslim community, Christian community, they all work together. There's no difference. There's a compassion. There's an interaction in our life. Without interaction, there's no compassion. We need to interact so that we can have a better tomorrow. Sometimes it's not happening. On the other hand, we think compassion is different. Like on Thursday morning, I was watching the TV. Actually, I was well prepared to listen to James Hobby's interview. As I saw him walking down there to his seat, I felt so bad. I said, what happened? Look at him. I was so much worried, why is it so down? We could figure out that his inside is he's feeling some kind of sorrow. He finished. Then at night, 10 o'clock, night show, 10:30, I was watching the Stewart Colbert show. He was making fun of it. Just see how compassion, the difference between this. So I thought, let's see if there are any studies on this. So I went, I just did reference. I like to read those things, just for little information. 5 studies investigated the cognitive and emotional process by which self-compassionate people deal with unpleasant life events. In the various studies, participants reported on negative events in their daily lives, responded to hypothetical scenarios, reacted to interpersonal feedback, rated their or others, videotaped performance in an awkward situation, and reflected on negative personal experiences. Results from study 1 showed that self-compassion predicted emotional and cognitive reactions to negative events in everyday life. And study 2 found that self-compassion buffered people against negative self-feelings when imagining distressing social events. In study 3, self-compassion moderated negative emotions and receiving ambivalent feedback, particularly for participants who were low in self-esteem. Study 4 found that low self-compassionate people undervalued their videotaped performances relative to observers. Study 5 experimentally introduced a self-compassionate perspective and found that self-compassion leads to people to acknowledge their role in negative events without feeling overwhelmed with the negative emotions. In general, these studies suggest that self-compassion attenuates people's reaction to negative events in ways that are distinct from and, in some cases, more beneficial than self-esteem. So when you compare all these things, we actually don't know what is compassion. That's what I have. Compassion forms in different ways. Interaction makes it more knowledgeable to people, or personal attachment that makes interaction with the compassion. So the subject the MCC chose today is wonderful. It really made me, I never thought of compassion with the interaction before, although, you know, like one of the speakers said that the more people you know, you interact and compassion, to do with the compassion. And I never thought of it. Only after getting this topic, I thought, you know, this is a good subject. Let's work on it. And I really admire MCC for their work. In Gita, if you think, Gita respects everyone, loves everyone, teach you how to be a good person in the society. So, all is love. Let us work together. Before I conclude, I'd like to give one information. It's a little smaller than I just copied it before I came. So I got to use my glass. Still, I'm not that old. Okay, June 15th. That's called the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Anybody knows about it? We are not heard about it. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. That is June 15th. So it says June 15th to 2017 is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day to raise awareness. Communities in the US and all over the world will sponsor events in highlights the growing tragic issues of older abuse. The US administration on aging estimates that as many as 1 in 10 older Americans are abused and neglected each year. The elder abuse can be physical, emotional, financial, and sexual. It also includes people who were neglected and those who neglected themselves. Older adults are contributing members of American society, and their abuse and neglect diminishes all of us. So let us show some compassion to older people. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
And to now end with our final speaker, Sheikh Muhammad Rajput from the Indo-American Center, who's also been a long-time member of the MCC community. I'd like to come and welcome you up to stage. Come on up.
Thank you, Sarah. Amina is one of my pillars.
I'm so very kind.
Outstanding.
Too kind.
Outstanding job. Yeah, thank you. I didn't prepare anything, but my middle name, like my friend Madhu said, Seva Panthi. My middle name is Umaga Khadim, that means in Urdu, I serve humanity. In Hindi, my name is Babu Verma calls me Jan Sevak. I have an honor and privilege to invite some of my friends to join me this auspicious day. I want to thank you, the Commander. He's always with us, Commander. We are grateful for your association. My regular customer, every Juma, my regular customer. I forgot his name. He's my nephew.
Oscar.
Oscar, yes. I am grateful to all my friends joining me. So please give me 1 minute. After Sadiq has given me 1 minute, so I want to conclude my remarks. To begin with, I have okay. I left my paper. Anil. I am so honored to be with these distinguished Indian community leaders. Anil is the chairman of everything in Indian community. He's chairman of everything. Everyone knows him in Indian community, and I'm honored and privileged that he joined us today. Rajendra Maggi is one of the very big Sikh community leader who was responsible for starting the institution of the Sikh Society and the celebration that we conduct every year, the Culture Center. I have known him for last, I'm not 99 years old, but I have known Maggu for the last 99 years. Then we have Sitaram, who is president of every temple in Gujarati community, as our Imam. Our Imam is from Gujarat, state of Gujarat. State of Gujarat is very highly technical state, produces the brightest leaders, including my Prime Minister, Modi, Narendra Modi. He is presently the leader of the country of India, Prime Minister. Done tremendous job. Madhu Patel is an outstanding journalist. He writes in Gujarati, in Hindi, and in English, and he honored me by joining. Madhu, can you stand up? Babu Verma is a Midwest Christian community. He is president of all the Indian churches. Babu, can you stand up with me? I am privileged and honored to have these letters. Pradhan ji, Sitaram ji, can you stand up please? One of the person who is a politician of Diwane in India town, who ran for governor, but we didn't make it. I was his, I advisor, but maybe that's why he didn't make it. So Usman Baki is shaking his head, so that's why he didn't make it. Sohan Joshi, Joshi ji, can you stand up? He is a Brahman from my state. He doesn't eat onions. He doesn't eat meat, any kind of meat. And onions and what's the other thing? Garlic. Thank you.
We have food without garlic and without
okay. Did I forget anything? Amina Khan, she's our outstanding lawyer. She gives a lot of compassion to. The Indo-American Center is an institution that serves everything free. You have immigration problem, come to me, Amina. You want free food, come to me. We serve 100 seniors every day, vegetarian food. All of you invited, please. And thank you for having me and for permit me to introduce my friend. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. You did such a tremendous job.
I'm good job as well.
I will tell you my
All right, I'm going to now introduce Hafiz Rehan Mangera, who will now give you the explanation of wudu and breaking up fast right before we break our fast. So it's crunch time.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you, and may God's mercy and blessing be upon you. This is my first time speaking to a crowd this large, so please bear with me. So how's everyone doing this evening? Right now, I'm extremely hungry, and let me just tell you, someone who's hungry and someone who has food laid out waiting for him is not something they want to mess with. So, there are going to be two short topics that I'll be explaining to you guys about today, and they are the topics of Iftar and the topics of wudu. Now, Iftar is basically the meal served at the end of the day during Ramadan to break the day's fast. Literally, Iftar means break fast. After fasting from dusk all day, Muslims break their fast at sunset, and they often do it as a community. They often go to each other's houses, they have parties, they go to local mosques, they go to local community centers just to break their fast. So it's an important part in our tradition. And traditionally, but not mandatorily, dates are actually eaten to break the fast. If you don't have dates, then you usually use water. But the reason why you use date palms, dates, to break our fast is because the Prophet, peace be upon him, he also did the same thing. You know, there are also many health benefits of dates. They have a healthy amount of calories, they are good in fiber, there's a lot of nutrients, there's a lot of vitamins in them, and they also have little to no fat. And dates, they can also significantly boost energy levels in people within half an hour of consuming it, which is another pro to eating dates at Iftar because, you know, people, they have fasted the whole day, they're usually tired, dehydrated, and hungry. And one joke that usually circles around in Ramadan is that Ramadan is the only month in the year where wives are okay with their husbands having multiple dates a night. Now, after we break our fast with dates, Muslims all around the world, they break their fast with different types of food. You have the typical desi meal with samosas, pakoras, biryani. You have the arab malfouf, haris, and baklava. And you also have American things like burgers, pizza, and fries. Now, after eating the iftar meal, we proceed to pray our sunset prayer, which is called maghrib. But before we do that, we have to make wudu. Wudu is basically a mandatory ablution without which our prayers wouldn't count. If we don't make wudu, then our prayers are not, we're not allowed to pray, and we're not also allowed to touch the Quran. Now, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that cleanliness or purity is half of faith. So wudu, we perform wudu to purify and clean ourselves. And Muslims, they must be clean and pure before we present ourselves before God. And wudu is especially important in hot and dry climates in countries like Saudi Arabia, which is where Islam originated from. And the reason why is because in these typical arid climates, there's a lot of dust and dirt that flies around in the air, and it usually tends to like cling to your face. It tends to like get on your body and everything. So we perform wudu to rid ourselves of these impurities. Now, the steps of wudu are as follows. So the first thing that you do is you make the intention that I'm going to make wudu. And then the second thing is that you take water and you rinse your wrists. You wash your wrists and your hands up to your wrists. The next thing you do is you take water, you put it in your mouth, you gargle it 3 times, and then you spit it out. The next thing after that, you take water and you put it in your nose, you kind of like clean your nose out. After that, you take water and you rinse your entire face from your forehead to your chin and from earlobe to earlobe. You do that 3 times. And then the next step is you take water and you rinse your entire arm from your hands all the way up to your elbows. You do that for both arms 3 times. After that, you kind of like wet your hands. You just wet your hands and you kind of like pass it over your hair and your neck just to clean it. And the last and final step is you wash your feet. And by doing that, you're supposed to wash your feet up until your ankles, and you do that for both feet. And that concludes the wudu. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. We thank you for coming. Your presence here is it means a lot to us. And thank you. Have a good day.
This is the best crash course on wudu ever. So we are now approaching Maghrib, which is now our time to break our fast. So immediately we're going to go, we'll have dates and water, and then we're going to go straight down to pray. So anybody that would like to come and join us for the prayer, you guys are totally welcome. I'll be showing down the women, and then we'll have Hafiz Rayhan show down the men. And then after that, you guys can all come back and we can all have dinner, yay! So actually we can start heading down there now, inshallah. Let's go.
Next prayers also. So again, we really appreciate you, all of you, and hopefully you enjoy the company and the food and everything. Okay?
I'm Sarah Trum, 2 M's, no P. And I work at Lutheran Seminary down in Hyde Park. I work at part of the seminary called the Center of Christian-Muslim Engagement for Peace and Justice. And so when I saw the word interaction, I thought about the word that I value the most in our title, engagement. And in a context where our society has got a lot of polarization and hate happening, and I know that even just today there were protests around the country that were happening, anti-Muslim, anti-Sharia, and I know that a lot of that comes out of ignorance. And so we hope that the protesters today might, I guess I'm convinced that most of them probably have not ever interacted with the Muslims, because if they had, they would know the generosity and the hospitality and the care like we've been shown here tonight. And I'm just faced with it every day, and I just cannot imagine to not understand and to not want to know more about our friends from the Muslim community. So our counter-protest today is coming together for this iftar meal. So shukran to all of those at Muslim Community Center and the Interfaith and Outreach team. Let's join our hearts in prayer. Most merciful source of life, it is a great gift to be here together tonight. We hope to give you honor as we take this experience with us. May our interaction, learning, and conversations in this diverse and beautiful creation of yours bring more peace and understanding to our communities. Thank you for feeding us, providing for us, and inspiring us, dear God. You give us compassion in abundance. Touch our hearts with empathy and generosity in our daily lives. It is with humility and gratitude that we depart in peace. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Brother Syed Mahmood. He is our team member also at MCC.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to start off by first giving thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making this event possible for MCC and for all of you to join us. Thanks to all of the distinguished speakers, fellow colleagues, and to an amazing MC. We value your friendship and this opportunity to learn about one another's interests and pursuits. But the main question is, how did you like the food? Not to have shots and getting ready to go. Please give a round of applause for Brother Bashir Deen's Tarbiyah team for preparing this delicious food and for welcoming us to our country. Before you use a brief survey, please take an opportunity to fill that out, give us your feedback. That'll help us to enhance our future friendship. Thank you sincerely for joining us tonight. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.